Did you know that 86% of people driving luxury cars worth over $80,000 have a net worth under $100,000? Meanwhile, the average millionaire drives a car that's at least 2 years old, and 61% of America's wealthiest individuals deliberately dress poor in public. The surprising truth? The more someone flaunts their wealth, the less likely they are to actually possess it. You've been misled about what true wealth looks like. While social media celebrates exotic vacations and luxury vehicles, the genuinely wealthy are hiding in plain sight, driving modest cars, wearing unbranded clothing, and living in middle-class neighborhoods. This counterintuitive approach isn't about being cheap. It's a deliberate, powerful strategy for building and preserving extraordinary wealth. What would change in your life if you discovered that looking average is actually the fastest path to becoming rich? Today's video reveals the 5 critical lessons of stealth wealth that millionaires use to build fortunes while appearing completely ordinary to those around them. These principles have created more financial freedom than all the get-rich-quick schemes combined. The most shocking insight, which I'll reveal in lesson number 3, explains why people who look wealthy are statistically 70% more likely to go bankrupt than those who practice quiet wealth. This single principle could completely transform your financial future if you have the courage to implement it. If you're tired of working hard but seeing little financial progress, type real wealth in the comments below. Then stay with me to discover why the wealthiest people you'll ever meet probably don't look wealthy at all, and how this counterintuitive approach could be your key to true financial freedom. Have you ever noticed how billionaire Warren Buffett still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958 for $31,500? Or how Mark Zuckerberg drives a Volkswagen Golf, despite being worth over $100 billion? This isn't a coincidence. It's strategy. The truly wealthy understand something profound. Displaying wealth attracts the wrong kind of attention. When you showcase expensive possessions, you become a target. Financial predators, opportunistic friends, and endless requests for money suddenly appear from nowhere. As the ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely observed, the wealth which breeds sycophants destroys liberty. Every visible sign of affluence creates vulnerability, both financially and psychologically. This principle extends beyond billionaires. Studies from Thomas Stanley's The Millionaire Next Door reveal that most millionaires live in middle-class neighborhoods, drive modest cars, and wear non-designer clothing. They're hiding in plain sight, accumulating wealth precisely because they're not spending it on status symbols. Consider implementing what I call the reverse status strategy. Deliberately underdress for your income level, drive a reliable but unimpressive vehicle, and live in a comfortable home that's below your means. This approach creates a protective barrier between your true financial position and the outside world's perception of it. As billionaire John Templeton famously advised, if you want to have more than average wealth, you need to do certain things better than average. One of those things is recognizing that financial privacy isn't just prudent, it's essential for building lasting wealth. Remember, real wealth is like an iceberg. The visible portion should be just a tiny fraction of what exists beneath the surface. The less others know about your financial position, the more control you maintain over your resources and relationships. But beyond protection, quiet wealth offers something even more valuable: authentic self-worth. Let's explore how looking ordinary helps you define your true value. Have you ever bought something expensive primarily because of how others would perceive you? Be honest. Most of us have fallen into this trap at some point. The luxury car that stretches your budget, the designer handbag you can barely afford, the vacation you took debt to fund, all to maintain a certain image. But what happens when your self-worth becomes tied to these external symbols? As philosopher Alain de Botton points out, we buy things we don't need with money. We don't have to impress people we don't like. This psychological trap creates a never-ending treadmill of status consumption that prevents true wealth accumulation while simultaneously eroding your authentic sense of self. The wealthy elite understand that mixing identity with possessions creates both financial and psychological vulnerability. When your self-image depends on external validation, you're never truly secure. Markets crash, trends change, and status symbols depreciate, but internal value remains constant. Jeff Bezos, despite being one of the world's richest men, drove a Honda Accord for years after becoming a billionaire. Why? It's a perfectly good car. He explained simply. His worth wasn't defined by his vehicle. It was defined by his vision, capabilities, and character. Try this experiment. For 1 month, make no purchases that others will see. No new clothes, accessories, or status items. Instead, invest that money. Notice how this feels. The anxiety, the freedom, the insights about your consumption habits. This simple practice can reveal how much of your spending is truly for yourself versus for others' perception. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When you embrace this wisdom, you're free to build actual wealth rather than its mere appearance. And speaking of building real wealth, let's examine how quiet wealth directly accelerates your financial growth. Did you know that the difference between looking rich and becoming rich often comes down to simple mathematics? Let's break down the numbers behind quiet wealth. The average American spends roughly 80% of their income on lifestyle expenses, leaves about 15% of taxes, and saves approximately 5% if they're lucky. Meanwhile, the typical millionaire reverses this formula, living on 30 to 40% of their income, paying necessary taxes, and investing the remainder. This isn't about deprivation. It's about priorities. When you reduce status spending by just 20% and invest that money instead, the long-term impact is staggering. Just $500 monthly invested at a 7% return grows to over $1.2 million in 40 years. That's the price of financial freedom versus the cost of looking affluent. Investor Naval Ravikant puts it succinctly. The best status games are the ones played with the people who can verify your status, not the ones played to impress those who can only guess at it. In other words, focus on impressing your future self with your bank statement rather than impressing strangers with your possessions. This mathematical reality explains why many outwardly rich individuals have negative net worths, while unassuming millionaires quietly build 7- and 8-figure portfolios. One group trades tomorrow's wealth for today's appearance. The other does the opposite. Try calculating your own wealth-appearance ratio. What percentage of your income goes to visible consumption versus invisible wealth building? If more than 50% of your spending is visible to others, you may be sacrificing real wealth for its mere appearance. As Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner, wisely observed, the first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. Every dollar spent on status is a dollar removed from your wealth-building machine. But to truly embrace quiet wealth, you need to develop a different relationship with money altogether. Have you ever noticed how the nouveau riche often flaunt their wealth, while old money tend to be much more discreet? This difference reveals a profound psychological shift that happens as wealth matures. Money transforms from being part of one's identity to being merely a tool. The wealthy elite understand something that takes many people a lifetime to learn. Money works best when it's a tool in your hands rather than a component of your self-worth. When money becomes intertwined with identity, every financial decision becomes emotional rather than rational. You spend to maintain appearances, hold losing investments because selling feels like failure, and make decisions based on ego rather than evidence. As billionaire Ray Dalio explains, money is a tool to help us achieve what we want in life, not an end in itself. This perspective shift, from seeing money as part of who you are to seeing it as something you simply use, creates both financial and psychological freedom. Consider how this principle manifests in everyday choices. Someone who sees money as identity might buy the $80,000 luxury car to look successful. Someone who sees money as a tool might invest that same amount to generate $400 monthly passive income, permanently enhancing their freedom. This mindset shift doesn't happen overnight. Start by asking yourself before each purchase, am I buying this as a tool to improve my life, or am I buying this to signal something about my identity? This simple question can transform your relationship with consumption. As the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu observed, he who knows he has enough is rich. When money becomes a tool rather than a measure of your worth, you're free to use it purposefully rather than emotionally. And that purposeful use of resources creates something even more valuable than money itself. What's the ultimate purpose of wealth? Is it the ability to buy expensive things? Or is it something deeper? When researchers interview the truly wealthy about their happiness, the answer is consistently about freedom rather than consumption. Specifically, they value 3 levels of freedom that quiet wealth provides. First is time freedom, the ability to spend your days as you choose rather than as others demand. Second is choice freedom, the power to say yes or no based on your values rather than financial necessity. Third is purpose freedom, the opportunity to align your life with meaning rather than mere survival. Ironically, those who focus on displaying wealth often sacrifice these deeper freedoms. They become trapped in high-stress jobs to maintain their lifestyle, locked into choices dictated by their image, and disconnected from purpose as they chase status markers. As billionaire Richard Branson notes, too many people measure how successful they are by how much money they make or the people they associate with. In my opinion, true success should be measured by how happy you are. This happiness comes not from what you own, but from how freely you live. The quiet wealth approach maximizes these freedoms by creating financial security without the golden handcuffs of an expensive lifestyle. When your expenses are modest and your investments substantial, you gain the ultimate luxury: choice. Try this perspective shift. Instead of asking, "What can I buy?" ask, "What can I create, experience, or contribute?" This redirects your resources from status consumption toward meaningful living. The 18th century philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau observed that the money you have gives you freedom. The money you pursue enslaves you. By embracing quiet wealth, you choose freedom over the endless pursuit of appearance, and that makes all the difference in creating a life of authentic abundance. We've explored 5 powerful lessons in quiet wealth that run completely counter to what society teaches about success and affluence. From protecting your financial privacy to discovering your non-material worth, from understanding the mathematics of wealth building to developing a healthy relationship with money, and finally to achieving true freedom, the path is clear. The wealthy don't look wealthy. They are wealthy where it matters most. This week, I challenge you to take one concrete step toward embracing quiet wealth. Perhaps it's postponing that status purchase you've been considering, or evaluating your spending to identify where you're trading future freedom for current appearances. Even small shifts in this direction compound dramatically over time, just like smart investments. Comment "quiet wealth" below and share one status symbol you're willing to sacrifice in exchange for building real financial security. Your example might inspire others struggling with the same pressures to keep up appearances at the expense of their financial future. If you found value in these counterintuitive principles, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every Wednesday, I share evidence-based strategies that contradict conventional wisdom but create extraordinary financial results. Exactly the kind of insights the truly wealthy rely on. In next week's video, I'll reveal 7 unexpected signs that someone is actually wealthy rather than just pretending. Subtle clues that will change how you view money and success forever. Remember, as Warren Buffett wisely observed, wealth is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. The path to true riches isn't about looking successful today. It's about quietly building the freedom to live life entirely on your own terms tomorrow.